The Giants, led by Tommy DeVito, shocked the Packers. And the last time I can remember a player who played for a New York team having this kind of phenomenally of a run was Jeremy Lin when he had Linsanity with the New York Knicks. You got to call this DeVito sanity right now because they're on a 3-game win streak with this dude, and he has energized this team. Before he took over as a starting quarterback, this team was down and out. This fan base was pretty much looking forward to tanking for Caleb Williams. And all of a sudden, Tommy DeVito, ever since that performance against the Las Vegas Raiders and the Dallas Cowboys, he's played some incredible football, and he's led the Giants to now their 3rd straight win. And their playoff chances are not over yet. They still, if they can win out, maybe they could compete for the 7th seed. The team that gets in that 7 in the NFC possibly could do it with maybe 8-9 wins, depending on how things go. Tommy DeVito, to me right now, he looks better than Daniel Jones. And that may be a hot take, but at least with how he's played this season, with a shit offensive line and a not-so-great team around him, he took a situation that Daniel Jones was terrible in, and he's taken this situation and made lemons into lemonade with it. I don't want to hear any excuses about Daniel Jones' poor performance this season when Tommy DeVito has outperformed him as an undrafted rookie free agent. I thought this dude was a bum after he stunk it up against the Las Vegas Raiders, right? And when you think about the Giants, you think about a team that they're pretty much playing for nothing. Because you would think that their season is over. So why the hell are they out here playing their hearts out against the Green Bay Packers? Well, just because you think they were counted out and they were out for the count doesn't mean that these players aren't going to come in and try to fight hard and try to win. You see, when everybody was thinking that the Giants were tanking for Caleb Williams, you got a guy like Tommy DeVito who comes in, energizes the team, and then the team starts to rally behind him. Do you not see the way that these players react to Tommy DeVito on the sideline? They obviously love this dude, and they look to this dude as a leader. And for somebody to come in and have this kind of energy and play the way that he's had is really impressive. Because this team now, they got a little bit of hope. Even if they can't make it to the playoffs, this team is still going to continue to fight hard in the rest of the games they play because of Tommy DeVito and the energy that he has brought. He's really good throwing on the run. He has underrated athleticism. I had a homie that was doing prize picks, and he picked Tommy DeVito under 17.5 rushing yards. And we were watching this game, and he instantly regretted it. He had a really big run in this game when he juked out a defender and damn near scored. And then he was really big in the closing minutes of this game. He put the Giants in field goal range that eventually led to the game-winning field goal. This dude is clutch. He's poised, and he's getting better every single week. And when Daniel Jones comes back, of course, we know that he's going to get the reins at quarterback again. But if he stinks it up, Tommy DeVito could be a dude who can come in and could be a solid replacement for him. Hell, for all we know, you may have another version of Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, yeah, he didn't go undrafted, but he was one pick shy of going undrafted. I'm not saying that Tommy DeVito is going to be the next Kurt Warner or anything or the next Tony Romo, but this dude has something special about him. And he's getting better every single week. And, you know, this is a terrible situation that the Giants had prior to him taking over. I mean, nobody looked like they were going to be able to succeed at quarterback with how bad this offensive line has been and their lack of talent at wide receiver. But Tommy DeVito took what we thought was one of the worst situations in the National Football League, and now he's turned into one of the best stories in the NFL. And he may just be a great story. This may just be a lightning in a bottle situation. If Daniel Jones is terrible next season and he comes back in, maybe he isn't as good. But if I'm the Giants, I'm looking at Daniel Jones and I'm looking at Tommy DeVito and I'm asking him, you know, we're paying you all this money and yet you are awful, but Tommy DeVito looks better than you. Why is that? When we look at this loss for the Green Bay Packers, really disappointing. This was a Jordan Love performance that was a mixed bag. He wasn't awful, but he definitely did kill them with the fumble that he had, which you can't really put too much blame on him for that happening because he did get popped. The Giants pass rush was getting after him for the majority of this game, but then he did have a really dumb interception that he threw, which I didn't even know what the hell he was looking at, even trying to attempt that pass, what he saw, but those were two costly mistakes. But late in this game, he did put the Packers in position to win. They lost this game because Joe Barry's defense folded, and I kind of thought that this defense was starting to make somewhat of a turnaround under Joe Barry when you look back at how well they played against the Detroit Lions. You know, I didn't really think that they were going to be able to beat the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving. And then on Sunday Night Football, they had an outstanding performance against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And yeah, the Chiefs offense has struggled this season, but you probably weren't expecting for Joe Barry's defense to be able to keep Patrick Mahomes from leading Kansas City downfield and eventually winning the game. I mean, I was pretty confident that Patrick Mahomes was going to pull something out of his you-know-what and lead Kansas City on a game-winning touchdown drive, but it didn't happen. You know, Joe Barry, this dude continues to underperform as the Packers defensive coordinator. This loss isn't all on him. If this was a mistake-free game, the Packers probably would have improved their chances of winning. Jordan Love, his turnovers definitely did cost them. But with the talent that they have on defense, even with Jair Alexander out, you still would have thought that they would be able to win this game against a New York Giants offense that for most of this season hasn't been that great, especially when you're going up against an undrafted rookie free agent quarterback. Joe Barry is a veteran defensive coordinator. You can't make any more excuses for this. With an undrafted rookie free agent, you would have thought that the Giants going downfield and getting in the scoring range would have been damn near impossible. But, you know, this is just another reason why the Packers should have already moved on from this guy as their defensive coordinator. This was a terrible loss for a team that it looked like they were heading in a really promising direction as far as their playoff hopes. But now with this loss, they're still in the hole trying to get back into it. But they still got a chance to get that 7th seed. Their schedule coming up is pretty easy. You got to play the Bucks, the Panthers, the Vikings, and the Bears. But with you losing to the New York Giants tonight, I don't think you can look at any game on the rest of the schedule unless you're playing the Panthers and draw up a W with you losing to an undrafted rookie free agent and Tommy DeVito and your defense not being able to slow him down and still in the win for you. And Jordan Love, yeah, he's had some impressive games, but he's still fairly inconsistent when it comes to taking care of the football. And you need to play a whole entire game at peak level. You can't just show up the last quarter of the game and not get criticized for poor play the first 3 quarters before. He needs to be a more consistent quarterback for a full 60 minutes. Sometimes this season, there's been games when he's played good in the first half and then he hasn't showed up in the second half. And then there's been games when he's been awful in the first half and then he shows up in the second half. And then you got some games when he's been able to put it all together like we've seen out of him the last couple of weeks prior to this game. And then you got performances when he just looks terrible all the way around for all 4 quarters. So this dude, as far as him being the franchise quarterback for Green Bay, you know, I still don't really know. I was pretty confident that they had their guy last week, but a game like this, when it should be an easy win, going against an undrafted rookie free agent, and you can't pull it off, and you kind of struggle with taking care of the football, still don't know if the Packers still have their guy. I'm 60% sure that he can be the future at QB for this team. Don't want to judge him off one performance when he has played some really good football, but this was a tough watch.